Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're bringing everything together for a massive look at the architectural blueprint of a modern PC. Now, just to be perfectly clear right off the bat, we are totally skipping the physical assembly today, so you can put away the thermal paste and those tiny little screws you always end up losing down the back of your desk. Whether you're looking to build a gaming rig, a cloud server, or an absolute powerhouse for AI development, understanding the role of every single hardware component and, more importantly, the ecosystem they create together is absolutely essential. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. We'll start with the anatomy of a PC, then check out the core processing organs, followed by power, cooling, and structure. After that, we'll walk through the boot process, analyze some purpose-driven PC builds, and finally look at how to avoid these beginner mistakes. All right, part 1, anatomy of a PC. Now, we all know a computer isn't just one static machine, right? But let's anchor this entire ecosystem with a biological analogy, just to visualize how interdependent everything is. Think of your CPU as the brain. It's doing all the active thinking. Your RAM, that acts as your short-term memory, holding exactly what you're working on right this very second. While storage is your long-term memory. The motherboard is that complex nervous system connecting everything together. Then you have the power supply, which functions as the circulatory system, pumping energy wherever it's needed, while the cooling system acts as temperature regulation so things don't overheat. And finally, the GPU operates as your visual processing center. The big takeaway here is interdependence. If one biological system fails, or even if just one component is severely bottlenecked, the entire machine suffers. Moving on to part 2, the core processing organs. Everything begins with the central processing unit, or CPU. It handles the raw calculations, manages the operating system, and coordinates literally all system activity. But as we know, not all brains are built for the same tasks. When you spec out a CPU, you're constantly balancing core count, threads, and clock speed. For example, if you're building a gaming rig, you want blistering single-core performance. But if you're building a video editing or AI development workstation, your priority completely flips to massive core counts for heavy multitasking and parallel execution. Beneath that brain sits the motherboard. This is your nervous system. It provides the sockets, the RAM slots, the PCIe pathways, and the power distribution. And listen, here is the golden rule. Compatibility here is absolutely non-negotiable. Mismatch your socket or chipset, and your expensive new system is essentially an overpriced paperweight right out of the box. Now, what's really interesting about this is how we can juxtapose the two memory types that still manage to trip up new builders, RAM versus storage. RAM, random access memory, is volatile and highly active. It's where your apps live while they're actually running. Because the CPU is constantly pulling data from RAM, it directly dictates your multitasking and your system's responsiveness. Storage, on the other hand, is permanent. This is where your operating system, your games, and your documents live long-term. Usually these days that means blazing fast NVMe solid-state drives. Upgrading your storage will dramatically improve your boot times, while upgrading your RAM ensures your system doesn't choke when you have, say, 50 browser tabs and a heavy application open all at once. Okay, let's talk about how we process visuals. Many CPUs actually come with integrated graphics built right into the processor chip itself. And honestly, for a basic office machine meant for emails and spreadsheets, integrated graphics are perfectly fine. But a dedicated GPU, a completely separate graphics processing unit that snaps into your motherboard's PCIe slot, is an absolute necessity for massively parallel workloads. If you're doing heavy-duty gaming, complex 3D modeling, or training huge AI models, a dedicated GPU with its own massive pool of VRAM and dedicated cooling is vital to making those computations happen efficiently. Which brings us to part 3, power, cooling, and structure. Every single component we just discussed requires highly stable power. The power supply unit, the PSU, has the critical job of converting wall electricity into stable DC voltage and then distributing it. So the crucial point is this. Please, do not cheap out on your power supply. A poorly made PSU creates voltage instability. At best, you're getting random reboots. At worst, it pops, releases the magic smoke, and takes your incredibly expensive CPU and GPU straight to the grave with it. And hey, with great power comes great heat. Modern high-performance processors and GPUs generate a massive amount of thermal energy. Your physical case design, airflow routing, and dedicated thermal management, things like massive heat sinks, vapor chambers, or liquid cooling radiators, are genuinely just as important as the electronic components themselves. Because if your airflow is blocked by awful cable management or just a bad case design, your system is going to automatically throttle its performance to save itself from hardware damage, meaning you won't get anywhere near the speeds you actually paid for.
Section 4. The boot process. Let's track the incredible chain reaction that happens the very millisecond you hit the power button. The power supply spins up, sending stable voltage straight to the motherboard, which instantly awakens the CPU. From there, the firmware initializes, performing this rapid hardware check. Then RAM activates, the system locates your NVMe drive, and your operating system is pulled right into memory. Finally, the GPU takes over the visuals and boom, your desktop appears. It's a highly coordinated symphony, and it happens in just seconds.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next section, purpose-driven PC builds. Notice how drastically our hardware priorities shift depending on what the machine is actually meant to do. An office computer? That's all about efficiency. A mid-range CPU with integrated graphics works perfectly. But jump over to the gaming column, and suddenly graphics performance becomes absolutely critical, demanding a fast CPU and a powerful dedicated GPU. Now jump down to an AI workstation, and we're talking extreme demands. You need a massive multi-core CPU, 64 gigs of RAM or more, and a top-tier GPU to chew through huge datasets. And finally, on a cloud server, reliability reigns supreme above all else. You need massive core counts, specialized error-correcting ECC memory, and redundant power supplies so the machine literally never goes offline. The whole game of system design is all about matching the hardware to the workload.
Let's wrap up with Section 6, beginner mistakes to avoid.
Let's punch quickly through these 6 common pitfalls. Number 1, overspending on a massive GPU, but pairing it with a weak CPU. This creates a huge bottleneck where your graphics card is just constantly sitting around waiting for instructions. Number 2, buying an incompatible motherboard and processor combination. Just a totally frustrating waste of time. Number 3, insufficient RAM, which completely chokes your multitasking. Number 4, ignoring cooling requirements and suffocating your expensive hardware in a badly ventilated case. Number 5, risking it all on a cheap, low-quality power supply. And number 6, buying a motherboard with limited PCI lanes, which leaves you absolutely no upgrade path for the future. Balanced system design is the ultimate secret to a really successful, long-lasting build. So we've explored the components, the architecture, and the incredible ecosystem that makes up a modern PC. Hardware isn't just a collection of random parts. It's the foundational stepping stone to the future of AI, cloud infrastructure, and edge computing. Literally every career in tech benefits from understanding this architectural blueprint. So I'll leave you with this. Knowing how this incredible ecosystem works, what kind of machine will you build next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.